Welcome to Statistics in the Social Sciences. It's a mouthful. Try and say it 3 times fast. My name is Jeff Ianson. I'm your professor. A little bit about me. I was a coach for 38 years. Work at a high school. I also teach at Cal State Fullerton. I teach statistics and kinesiology. I also teach statistics and kinesiology here at San Diego Christian and also sport officiating. And now this class, and also research methods in the psychology department. So pretty broad range. I have a wife and 3 kids, and my son plays baseball. My daughter plays volleyball. The older one is getting ready to graduate from high school. I have a beautiful wife, and I'm in the middle end of my doctorate in general psychology. So anything that we're working on, I've been working on in the last 6-7 years pretty heavily. So feel free to ask any questions about your future endeavors in psychology. I can give you a little bit of insight into your education. So we'll do this in class too, but be it that we don't meet for the first 3 weeks, better to introduce myself now. Communication, phone and text, the best way. There's my phone number. Please don't abuse it. In 10 years of teaching, I've never had anybody abuse it. I had to have changed my number, but you're free to call and text. If you call and you get a message, please leave a message of which class you're in, because I have multiple classes, and a brief description of what you need. I'll get back to you ASAP. You can also text me. It's probably the fastest way of getting a hold of me. I can answer sometimes questions there, but if you get a message of call me, that means I can't answer it on text because I don't type that fast, and sometimes it's just better to talk in person. So make sure you leave your phone number and the best way to get a hold of you. The fastest email is my personal email, and you'll see it here. A little bit slower is San Diego, because I have to go. It doesn't send me alerts like my phone does. First 2 weeks there's no class. First, the 8th isn't the start of school, and the next week is a holiday. So you need to begin working on the first module. Okay. The module is not due till after the first class on the 26th. So your goal is to have a working knowledge of the first module before we come in, because this class is flipped. You're going to do the work first, and we're going to come in and we're going to work together on each module, going through each one extensively in that period of time. It it decreases the amount of time it takes to learn the material. Excuse me. Don't worry about making any mistakes or not answering all the questions correctly, because we'll be going over a lot of them. Bring your questions to class. We'll go over them so you understand it and be clear. Okay? The module, it does not open until you complete the previous item. So you've got to stay on task and keep working. It also tells me how far along you are and how much work you're doing. Okay? Let's talk about the modules. The first module is open, and there are 2 items: chapter PowerPoint and chapter questions. Now, to be correct, you're going to have to watch the syllabus video. You're going to have to watch this video before the first module will open. So you've got to get through the first 2 parts to get to the module. And then you watch the PowerPoint, and then the chapter questions. The chapter PowerPoint. Watch the PowerPoint. Watch as many times as you need. Take notes. Prepare for the questions. Okay, then you move on to the questions. The questions are in a form of a test. It is not an exam. They are questions. Okay, I know it says test on the computer, but it's called questions. Answer the questions to 100%, which means you can take it 99 times to get every one of them correct, which means when you get answers correct, you probably need to mark them down or write them down. And then when you go back, you can answer them correctly, or you're going to find yourself in this mode of having to take it more times than necessary. The highest score you get is what you get. So if you get to the 99th try and you still haven't got 100%, you need to call me. I would say probably when you get to 12 or 13. Most I've ever had anybody go is 8 or 9. And then after that, they made their notes and they made their corrections, and after that, there's no problem. So there's generally 10 or so questions. The whole module is worth 30 points. and I think I have to adjust it because of the 2 weeks. So this module may only be worth 20 points, and the rest of the points will be picked up later because we have the first 2 weeks off. I don't want to give you too much stuff. Okay, so you'll have 2 chapters in this first module. The module is due the Friday after our first class. That way, when we go into class, any questions you have or stuff that you just don't understand or couldn't get right, that gives you 4 more days afterwards to complete the test. So let's say you don't complete it and you get 80%. That's your score. On the 26th, it closes. You can't go back. You can't do it again. You've had over 3 weeks to get it done. Okay, so the idea is you can be done in the first week. You can be done in the second week. The idea is set up so you're got 1, 2 in the third week. You're done. So just know that that's where you're at. Also, it's good to get a head start on your first article review. So if you pull an article and bring it into class, I'll show you tell you if it's good or not. It's due during module 2. Okay, so pull an article, bring it into class. I'll tell you if it's appropriate for what you're doing, and go from there. There'll be a video on article review coming out in about a week.